Okay, so the question for today is what are the next steps for intermittent FMLA to care for a family member that has become unpredictable? Medical certification indicated assistance with appointments, but employee has been calling out at the last minute.
Okay, so we're talking about FEMLA with unpredictable, ongoing, as needed leave, is what the certificate says, but the certificate's for predictable medical appointments. So this would be the choice at the beginning. As soon as you recognize a certificate is differentiated from what you expected it to be, in other words, originally, did we understand these were for appointments? But
Yes.
we allowed it to be unpredictable. So that's the key. When you're curing, timeliness matters. So we missed the curing window, and that would have happened in the first week or two. You want to cure right away. But now you can always use the assessment of, well, we're doing an audit on our medical certificates, and we confirmed that, in fact, you're taking it for medical appointments, but you requested unpredictable leave. Can you tell me more about that? Are these appointments booked a month or two in advance? Can you book them a month or two in advance? Can you book them at the beginning of the day or the end of the day? Now, FEMLA very clearly says that for your own medical appointments, that's our expectation, that you're going to put time out in the future, maybe not the first 2 months because you're just starting to make them. But once you know you need physical therapy every month or every week, after a few weeks, you can predict when those will be. And we have an expectation that you'll make those in a manner that will be beneficial to the company and to you. So first thing in the morning, last thing at the end of the day, before lunch or right after lunch, as opposed to the middle of the day. The other thing is, if you're on a predictable appointment, if it's just for the appointment, where's the location from the employee's work site or their home site? Are they just doing a round trip, or is there time after that they need to care? And we would want all of that written down. Okay, to clarify and cure, even in California, by the way, everybody, because in California, you cannot do second and third opinions on family members under CFRA. But for FEMLA, nationally, you can do those second and third opinions. So let's talk about that a minute, because we've talked about second opinions quite a bit and curing quite a bit for your own medical condition. And then we pop you into ADA if you don't cooperate and you take too much time, et cetera, and exceed your certificate. So you need to cure. But with your family member, we're looking at a couple of things. Is it predictable? I would say appointments that are happening on a regular basis are pretty predictable unless they are solving a problem and they're searching new specialists, and then that might be unpredictable. So let's take the time to just clarify with the employee when we have FEMLA leave, that is an appointment-based FEMLA leave. And it should say there on that they're taking it for appointments, that we're clarifying this requirement that they need to take it when it's predictable for the company, beginning, end of lunch or the day. But also, is there more detail that we need so we don't miscommunicate and we don't assume that you're doing something you shouldn't? When you assume that, of course, we would know you need to drive and drive home and take care of them. So that's why it's happening. And of course, we should know that there's all sorts of doctors and it's different every month. We wouldn't know that if we asked. So those are okay to have those conversations. And then with the purpose of, could you get that clarified with your medical provider? Let's just make a note of that. And there you're using a simple curing form. When you cure, you need to make a note why you're curing. The reason is we've got an unpredictable as needed leave to take care of a family member, but she's letting us know it's for medical appointments. So we're clarifying, are any of those predictable and repetitive month to month or week to week, that we could then start clarifying some of those requirements in a really positive way. That's different than exceeding the amount of time for yourself or your family member. When it's yourself, so you got to cure it, and we're going into ADA, so it's easier to manage. But when it's a family member, what happens if they don't cure? You can do a second and third opinion. Now you're asking a family member to go to another family member's medical provider and get a HIPAA release from their family member so they can give it to their doctor, so their doctor will give it to the other family member to give it to you. So that's a little bit more effort, but there's no reason you can't do it. The key with this kind of stuff is you do it quickly. The longer you wait to do it, the more it starts looking like there's another reason why you're doing it. Does that help?
It helps a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
the more you just have an open communication
Mhm.
style, Meredith, that you're not trying to do something to them and they tell that you're just trying to clarify and help them out, you get better results. Employees feel nervous already when they're on these medical leaves, everybody, or they're into ADA and they have absolutely no idea what they're asking for. They just know they don't want to lose their job. They'd like their medical benefits and they'd love it if they were paid. And other than that, they're not really paying much attention. So I think if we treat, in my experiences, when we treat employees respectfully and intelligently and say, help us understand what you need, so we can let the manager know so it doesn't really impact them more than it needs to. And by the way, if that's true, then we get into a point, especially for their own medical condition, that we're getting into ADA, it might be more reasonable to be able to accommodate you because you've been so considerate and thoughtful in the way that you've utilized your time. However, FMLA mandatory. Let us know what you need. We'll be happy to give it to you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might start with before we get busy at the end of the year, I just wanna check in something like
Because
that,
you
see how
guys are
things
going
are
to get
going.
really crazy.
Yeah,
This is a hard time when you get around the holidays, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Really tough stuff.
it's always busy.
Yeah.
So I think that might be my approach because now I'm like, "Oh, I should have checked in, at around the 6-month mark that this has been going on." Because at the beginning, it was very predictable. She'd send us
Okay.
a list, like, "Here are the dates I'm gonna be out this month," and now it's like, she last week had one day where she's like, "I'm gonna let us know I'm gonna be out for half a day," and then that morning said, "No, it's gonna be a full day." So,
So then the thing to add to the checklist, and maybe we'll check this to make sure we have it on there for FEMLA, Maddie, for ADA too, is that when you've got ongoing as needed, we want to probably have a calendar item on our Asana or base camp that says verify the usage.
yeah.
And if it's being overused like monthly, or maybe verify the uses for the first, because the problem is if you're verifying it the first 2 or 3 months, it's easy to then say, oh, it's going fine. I would
Mhm.
almost put that on the supervisor because they're paying attention to all kinds of attendance anyway.
Yeah.
They're in charge of signing the keeping sheet, and we're expecting them to inform us and give us a heads up if they're taking time off that is more than 3 days. They know what the restrictions are, what the agreement is on the medical certificate because we inform them of it. They should be telling us if it's exceeding. That should be their responsibility. Now you
Yeah.
just have to make them do it.
Alright. Yeah.
Anything else going on since you have our undivided attention?
We have, I think 8 or 9 moms now, 8 or 9 pregnant employees out of 200.
Yep. Well,
There's
you've
something
got
in the
mostly
water.
mostly
Yeah.
young women? Yeah,
That's
so it's
our
just a known you have
yeah.
a lot of birthday parties for new
Yeah.
births?
It's great, actually, because I've been trying to, like, train the rest of my team on how to handle stuff now that we've worked with you and actually have a process, and I'm like, "Oh, here you go, try again. Another
Yep,
new mom, try again."
yep.
We can
You
keep
get a
doing
lot
this
of
and then
opportunity to get that one nailed down.
yes. Yeah,
Very
that
good.
one we're gonna have. That one we don't have problems with. It's all these other, like, tricky, weird ones there's always something,
We
so
so appreciate you coming and letting us know what's going on.
this is yeah, I appreciate these times to check in, and, yeah, I'll definitely let you know what we got going on next
Let us know
time.
what else is going on. Thanks, Maddie. Okay, cool. All right,
Alright,
we'll
have
see
a
you in a
great
couple
rest of your
weeks,
week.
Meredith. Let
Yep,
us know how what's going on.
definitely.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.